Hello, everyone. The career field that I'd like to inform everyone about is a substance abuse counselor. That is a field that is near and dear to my heart because I am a recovering addict. What really stuck out to me in this graph that I have is the actual cost of substance abuse to the American taxpayer. It says the abuse of alcohol, tobacco, prescription, and illicit drugs is economically taxing to the United States, annually costing approximately 137 billion in direct healthcare expenses. Cost estimates that include crime and lost work productivity balloon to over $600 billion, equivalent to 17.1% of the U.S. federal budget. We spend almost as much money on substance abuse as we do for the Defense Department budget. Okay? There are a number of preventative deaths also in the substance abuse, the problem of substance abuse. Overdoses on prescription drugs were the leading cause of death in the United States. There were 33,175 unintentional overdose deaths. 53 were linked to pharmaceuticals, and 72% of deaths attributed to pharmaceuticals were related to opioids. I was also part of the opioid epidemic. So I would like to inform everyone how important a substance abuse counselor is. So there are a lot more addicts than there are counselors. That's a downfall of this field. There are a lot more addicts than treatment centers. That is another downfall of this field. But if we're just willing and able to touch just one addict to change their ways of thinking and to help them out of the problem that they were in, then we will have accomplished our mission. To take a burden off of the taxpayer and also to save a life or two. Okay. My persuasive speech is going to be about volunteering. Also, that is something that is near and dear to my heart because I work in a homeless shelter and I know how important volunteers are to our shelter. Even though I am employed at the shelter, I still go in and volunteer sometimes on my days off. What is volunteering, you may ask? Volunteering is to choose an act in recognition of a need, which an attitude of social responsibility and without concern for monetary profit, going beyond one's basic obligation. That is doing things out of the kindness of your heart for the right reasons and not expecting anything in return, to do things without a motive. Why America volunteers, you might ask? Well, just like with our shelter, our operating budget is $1.4 million. And if it wasn't for the volunteers, well, thanks to COVID, we don't have any volunteers. So we've had to hire a lot of different positions that volunteers were filling at our shelter. It says more than half of Americans say that they find volunteer work more rewarding than a 5% raise. 9 in 10 Americans want to volunteer in their own communities. Americans do charity work for the first time, usually before they turn the age of 18. 50% of Americans are more likely to volunteer if accompanied by a loved one. So if you were to volunteer, take your family with you. Have a good time with that. 12 days of the year, Tom of Maine offers its employees 5% paid time off in order to volunteer. Wouldn't that be nice if a lot of companies did that in the United States today? Just a little volunteering can mean a lot. We have people to make sandwiches for our ministry. We also have people just to make desserts and cookies because those are hard to come by. I left out that we run a 365-day-a-year soup kitchen also, the only one that is in my city. They make snack bags also for the homeless, and there are participants actually give the equivalent of over 4,500 hours at one given day. Volunteers also spend time sanitizing our shelter, organizing our shelter, and polishing things that are in our shelter. So just like I said, a little bit can mean a lot. it would save us almost our whole operating budget if we could fill more of the volunteer spots that we have at our shelter. Anyway, thank you for letting me come before you this evening, and I hope you have a blessed evening. Thank you.